I'm a triathlete from New Zealand. I'm 21 years old. I've been doing triathlon for almost 2 years now. Originally at school, I rode boats, and then as soon as I went to university, I started doing triathlon, which was definitely an experience in itself. But yeah, after 2 years, I made it into the elite triathlon team with New Zealand, and now I'm here based in Europe, gaining international experience. Training day here in Victoria would look like we'd wake up in the morning at about 8 o'clock, have breakfast, and then head out for a swim, which will be about 4 or 5 kilometres. We'll come back, eat lots of food, and then head out for a ride session. We'll be cycling around the local roads and little towns and cities. And then in the afternoon, late afternoon, would be doing a run session. Generally in the trails around Victoria, which are really, really nice, and yeah, really, really pretty place. My biggest challenge thus far in triathlon is learning the technicalities of each of the 3 sports, swim, bike, run, and nailing the demands of competition and training correctly, as well as the nutritional side of things, where, because we're doing 3 sports, you got to really nail nutrition. And yeah, it's been a really steep learning curve on how to get that right, and yeah, doing it correctly for the best optimal training and output. A typical triathlete like myself, we'd wake up in the morning and have probably 2 pieces of toast with some peanut butter on toast, which is not so big in Europe, but it's pretty big in New Zealand, peanut butter toast. I'd also have a glass of milk with a bit of pelletinoise, the healthy carbohydrate, to make sure I'm getting enough carbohydrate in pre-training session. And then I'd come back after swimming and have a really big breakfast. So I'd have probably 2 pieces of toast and 3 eggs, spinach, capsicum. Yeah, essentially a big cooked breakfast. And then leading into my next session, which would be my bike session, I would have a high carbohydrate based meal. This would be accompanied with a sports drink that would contain carbohydrate of pelletinoise as well, to ensure we're fueling for the demands of the training session, and to making sure we get to the end of the training session without completely falling apart. Because without fuel, you're not going to get anywhere. So, and then after the bike session, we'd come back and have a normal lunch, which would be, yeah, it could be anything. And then we're leading into the run, same thing again. You're looking for a high carbohydrate plate to meet the demands of the run session. And after that, we'd have a big dinner, and then even some dessert after that. So yeah, lots of food in a big training day like that. Yeah, which is pretty typical of triathletes, especially at the high level. My favourite way to use pelletinoise, and I find has been the most effective for me, has been to pre-race day and pre-training session. The easiest way for me to ingest pelletinoise is by putting it alongside a sports drink. So 1 scoop into about 1 litre of water and sports drink. Also alongside with a gel. By using a gel, I find I can digest it really easily, and it's given me really effective results in my races and trainings. Pelletinoise is a really important part of all my training sessions and competitions, because with pelletinoise you can consume the carbohydrate before your session and not have to worry about continuing to ingest carbohydrate whilst you're training, which is really hard in your gut. Pelletinoise enables me to consume carbohydrate before my session and not have to worry about running out of fuel during my training session or competition. A really great advantage of pelletinoise is, apart from the fact that it is a sugar that lasts a lot longer, so it's a lot greater for longer training sessions, is the fact that as an elite athlete I can fully rely on pelletinoise due to its tested supplement to check if there's no banned substances in the product. Because as athletes we're on anti-doping, and we can't have anything that's banned substances in our system, and we can fully rely on pelletinoise to give us a clean product that we can use in day-to-day training. before a race, you're going to want a high carb meal the night before, and then leading into the race, you're going to want to have your typical breakfast that you'd normally have, and then in the race, you want to have about 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrate on the bike to make sure you can finish off the run properly. And then post-race, naturally, you're going to be really hungry, and you're going to want to eat as much as you can, really, to maximise adaptation from the race experience. Specifically, when I use Pelotonos to get the most out of myself when I'm in competition, would be the night before as well as the morning of, because you want to really fill up your glycogen muscle stores to get the most out of yourself on race day. On a typical day without triathlon, I would be really keen to head out and go for a surf and have fish and chips on the beach with my mates. Pretty typical thing to do in New Zealand. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. My short-term goals in a triathlon sense would be to get 3 Continental Cup podiums, and then after this, which is slightly more long-term, I'd go for a World Cup podium, and then naturally I would want to go to the Olympic Games and represent my country and do as the best I possibly can.